You know, you hear it long enough and you start to see patterns. Remember how I told you how we design things by designing what they're not? Well, everybody's been designing what it's not, describing what it's not, but they don't know what it is.
Thank you.
And
I can't figure it out either, so I'm in the
there were some discussions today that I heard that start centering it on the truth, and that is there's this idea that there's something magical about it, and no, there's nothing magical. It's data that's stored somewhere, and somebody's running that. Somebody's got to approve the profile to verify the number on a Bitcoin. You cannot do it by magic.
Explain that.
Well.
Why couldn't a computer? I'm looking at it and I go, why can't the computer generate that?
It's
number?
not magic. Computer does what a programmer tells it to do.
Okay.
And
there's really no intelligence.
And no, it's read, write, edit. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's binary. It's a 0 or it's a 1.
I mean, if you don't store that data somewhere, you can't get it back. It just doesn't magically roam around.
And it has to be somewhere, and someone has to be in charge of it.
In the previous video, you had mentioned that the technology that Leader Technologies provided is more than likely the source of
right.
Bitcoin
From everything I can tell, it's the same code. It was just another one of the carve-outs in February of 2004. And these guys, a lot of these guys are former PayPal. In fact, there's a bunch of them that they call the PayPal Mafia. Mm-hmm. It's Breyer, it's Steele, it's Kohler, it's Reid Hoffman. It's that group of guys who did PayPal. And PayPal, it's well known, public information, was cooperating with the NSA, and they had programs for tapping into people's computers way back before social. And they were looking around for the next big thing, and we were it. And so they all wanted to figure out a way to handle transactions without all the regulatory requirements that hampered them with PayPal. And so they've been dreaming about this idea of a stateless Bitcoin for a long time. And so as best I can tell, Bitcoin is nothing more, I'm going to use general terms most people would understand, is nothing more than a Facebook profile with a number associated with it instead of a person's name. And so anything that happens relative to that number gets stored in that profile, which they gave a fancy name called blockchain.
Yeah.
That's it.
And connected to encryption.
So it just keeps, encrypted it.
But call it Merkle trees, hash trees.
But whatever.
Blah,
I mean,
blah, blah.
Even with encryption, somebody, if it's encrypted, it's got to be decrypted.
Exactly.
So it's got to be decrypted on a processor somewhere, and that data has got to be stored somewhere. So whoever it is, this mysterious person that's got the original platform, most likely got the same source code from the Eclipse Foundation that everybody else got, and they said, let's make this, let's put this somewhere, and let's not let anybody know where it started, which that's telling me it's intelligence. Mm-hmm. And so this is it's a way of getting around Congress. It's getting around the Constitution, and it's trying to control money without states.
Yeah, without taxes.
Without
it's a tax
sovereignty.
haven.
Right.
It's a gambling casino like the stock market. I look at it as buying stock that you also can turn into currency, which is shocking because what does that do? That's a globalist economy.
Okay, well, people are used to now the idea of liking somebody, and some people have more likes than others. That's Bitcoin blockchain. Just think of it that way. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's more value to this one because there's more people using it for more different things. That's just that's more likes. So this YouTube or this Facebook or this Instagram has 5 likes and this one has 10,000. Well, that must be more valuable. That's Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's trust. That people trust
Exactly.
that they buy into it. It's like a stock.
It's popularity.
Let's say I buy into Facebook, even though Mark, the dude Zuckerberg, is selling 55 to 75 million shares. Oh, right after Peter Thiel sold his.
No, that was done back in September, where he gave his notice that he was selling.
Yes.
Well, he gave his notice, but he's got to wait to sell it.
That's the whole point, and it's happening right now.
He has to
so he
file
knew.
filing.
This is insider trading. He knew exactly what he was doing. Now, my question to you is, James Breyer, Do we know what he's done with his shares of Facebook? But anyway,
Yes.
I'm getting a little bit off
the
track.
insider trading reports on SEC Edgar show all that.
Is he selling too?
Oh, he's been selling from the beginning. I mean, he dumped like $6.3 billion worth of his stock on day 3 of the Facebook IPO.
Some listeners may not know who James Breyer is.
James Breyer is the founder of Excel Partners, a close partner of the CIA In-Q-Tel program, a venture capitalist from Silicon Valley, who is the official first outside money in Facebook. He was also the chairman of the National Venture Capital Association in 2004, along with In-Q-Tel, along with Fidelity Investments, along with Kleiner Perkins, who were all a part of this group around the Eclipse Foundation that basically made the social networking market what it is today.
And he was in the dark pool before Facebook had its IPO, and then later Excel gave Facebook huge amounts of money. Is that the way that went?
Well, Excel put in about 14 billion.
Yeah.
Not billion, a million in Facebook in 2005.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel had put in $500,000 before that, and word is that Reid Hoffman put in money before that and was probably his coach at Harvard. So Excel's been there from the beginning to make this market.
I'm asking these questions to underscore what you said earlier. Really, Bitcoin it's a trust system. It's like a stock. Let's say that we were the insiders, like the Russian Uri Milner, who was the student of Larry Summers, who gave all that money to his good buddy, Dude Zuckerberg, so that, because he knew it was going to be big, right? The same thing with Bitcoin. The people who bought it for $1 are pretty happy now that it's 11,000, right? Well, if you had the insider trading knowledge of that, just like with all these big companies.
Well, how about McAfee saying that he would eat his private parts
if
it didn't get up to 500,000 of Bitcoin?
550,000.
Is he an insider?
He's CIA. He came out of Trusted Information Systems. He's strictly NSA CIA. He has come forward and said he's the second largest miner of Bitcoin. He has said it's going up. Well, of course, if he's mining it, he's telling everybody to buy it. But why did he say there was going to be a cap at 550? Mark my words. Sell at 540, because these guys know ahead of time. That's my point. So I'm trying to create this picture for you. Bitcoin, it's an experiment that got out of hand.
Right.
Oh, so was Facebook. So was Google. So was ARPANET, which became the internet. It was a DARPA project that it got out of hand. These things are all out of hand because they've become controlled by a few people, centralized monopolies, tech lords, okay? So if we want to say, oh, Bitcoin, I don't trust it. I'm not going to buy it for $1 a coin. That'd be kind of foolish. Now am I going to buy it for $10,000 or $11,000 a coin? Yeah, it's going up. I got trust in it now. Everybody else has trust in it. Oh my gosh, I'm going for it, right? What is that? That's the same thing that happened with all the groups, all the companies out of IBM Eclipse.
That's the stock market.
They had the insider trading. They know where it's going, and anything that splits, because Bitcoin has now forked twice, right? Any stock I know that forks is corrupt. And in some cases, then they fall afterwards. So
nobody out there should take any stock advice from.
No stock advice from me.
Okay.
Betsy is the one with the master's degree.
None of us. We are just talking about the origination of Bitcoin because a lot of folks want to know.
Yeah, I don't understand it. So nothing I'm saying count on whatsoever.
So this is the
my
first
opinion.
explanation I've heard from Michael McKibben as to its source that makes sense to me. And now
Yes.
I will be very careful in going forward, making sure that I'll play that game, but I'm going to get out before it crashes.
I'm going to speculate. This is Betsy. This is strictly speculation. This does not come from the conclave, okay? Because I don't understand Bitcoin, but I do understand the CIA and the NSA, and I do understand corruption because I work for those people.
Right.
So it has to be corrupt because they hid the sources of it,
Right.
and mythical sources. Okay, Zuckerberg is a myth. Bezos is a myth.
Yes.
Peter Thiel is a myth. These are myths. These are cardboard cutouts. So what is Bitcoin? It's a friggin' myth.
It
okay?
personalizes it personalizes a fake story to give it so that the average person can attach a person to it, or and they want to believe. Most people don't want to disbelieve when other people tell them stories. And so that's what we've seen with this whole social media crap. I mean, when the Social Network movie came out, I mean, that was a total lie. And what these guys learned is that the public is completely undiscriminating. They'll believe it.
Oh yeah.
And I think they got more and more bold with the lies. They realized nobody's testing us. And of course, we've got all the media companies bought off. So the paid journalists are not digging. Like we just dug into the stock that we found Chelsea Clinton in. Oh, by the way, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State when Chelsea went on this board. Hillary had a affirmative duty as Secretary of State to disclose that conflict of interest. In fact, her daughter was sitting on the board of companies that were trashing Trump during the election.
Now, you must say a little bit more about that, because people may hear this audio and not the other one we just did.
Well, we just we did some digging into the background of some of Jeff Bezos' associations back to his days at Princeton. And to cut a long story short, the professor that he went to work for first in the 1994-95 was the chief creator of the Kyoto Protocol for carbon credits, and then now is the founder of a company called Global Thermostat, which has its main funder a member of the board of a company called IAC Interactive Corp, on which Chelsea Clinton was made a director in 2011. And this is about a $5.2 billion company, heavy into media, and owns NBC Universal and the Daily Beast, among many other media companies.
Meddling in the election, I think that's called.
I'd say so.
That would be media meddling in the election, yeah. Michael, that's incredibly insightful. And it's still, I don't understand a lick about Bitcoin. I only understand conspiracies about Bitcoin because it doesn't make sense. But if there are carbon credits made by Bezos's girlfriend, who basically mathematically invented these things, okay, we actually need the carbon dioxide of the earth. We actually at this point need more. We don't need less. So then he learned to commoditize these things, okay? And then he went and he worked for Wall Street, and then he worked for brokers, and then all of a sudden then he becomes a computer guy. Well, he did have a degree in computers, but if you realize that he is a cardboard cutout from his grandpa DARPA dad.
Can I stop you there? When you look at his resume and you realize he did have a computer experience.
Yes.
But he didn't work in computers in these companies. So when you're in that business and you don't see somebody that's coding all the time, and then all of a sudden magically he comes out with a product, you know he didn't code it.
In his garage. Why are you questioning this? Just like Bill Gates in his garage, and just like all of them in their garage.
Coders get on a roll, and if they're not on a roll, they don't do good code.
Look, dude Zuckerberg did it in a dorm room, probably with two other guys in the room during finals week, in an hour with a keg of beer. In 1 week with a keg of beer. That's his story. I don't know why you would ever question that.
You drank the Kool-Aid of the Social Network movie, obviously.
That wasn't true? So what I'm saying is, they learn where the flow is. And if need be, they create a flow. They create a new type of currency called carbon. They create a new type of currency called uranium.
Right.
New type of currency called plutonium. A new type of currency, why? $140,000 an ounce. They want to go for whatever the biggest is. Now what are they going to get? Not even an ounce. Actually nothing but a piece of digital coin worth, some say, $500,000 is where it's going to stop. What is that? That is, again, attempting to manipulate currencies and all the new types of currencies. I predict that when it reaches Bitcoin says it can only reach a certain amount of coins, right? But now that they keep forking off and they keep creating other companies, what is going to amount to is it could reach $1 million a coin, $500,000 a coin. At that point, it will be a commodity that can be put in a basket of commodities that can actually be the basis of our U.S. Treasury. And I predict that they will at that point say that the man who owns it, who owns all the major shares. To begin with, he bought all, first 5 million shares or whatever it was. He's nowhere around. Who do you think owns that? The plunge protection team from the U.S. Treasury. That's what I'm going to protect. And that is controlled by the CIA.
Interesting.
So I believe that because McAfee's totally CIA and he's totally into this and he knows where it's going to stop, that they know where it's going to stop. This was a plan. They don't start this stuff. They started with crazy ideas and then it might get out of control. But they knew where it would go. It's like nuclear weapons. Will we stop at 55,000? Now what are we down to? 1,200? Is there any difference between Russia and us when we had 55,000 pointed at them, they had 44,000 pointed at us? What is that about? It's a currency of uranium.
Right.
We're talking mega billions of dollars. We're talking trillions of dollars. These are currencies for these people. So Bitcoin, I say to anyone who bought it, hey, go for it because it's wonderful. But be careful. I'd sell it at 500,000 if I was you.